Shalom, shalom, shalom. Yeshua world. Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Chris.
And we are at the finale of Ahia's love versus hippie love, or Yah's love versus hippie love. And basically, we left off on, I said I was going to break down what that meant about turning the other cheek, what the Mashiach was talking about, because a lot of people have that, a misunderstanding of that. So I went through numerous little, things that I had to search through here to even get that understanding that it didn't mean to let somebody just beat you. Okay, that's not what he was talking about. And before I even start, you guys have to understand and remember that the Mashiach was always talking in parables because the people didn't know, and it wasn't all for them to know, and they had to understand that you guys are being taught doctrines of men, commandments of men, and everything. So I'm showing to prove what he actually meant. Okay, and I'll back this all the way up with everything that we have. So we're gonna start off at Matthew 5 and verse 38. Matthew 5 and verse 38, and then we could then I'll get to giving examples of what when he did that, or showing the examples that he was giving back from our ancestors to show and prove what he meant by turning the other cheek. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Abba.
Matthew 5th chapter and verse 38 says, "You have heard it has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, that you resist not evil, or whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if any man will sue thee at the law, and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him 20. Give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thee away. Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemies. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, and do good to them that hate you, and pray for them that despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh the sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love them that love you, what reward have you?
What reward would have you if you love just the ones that you love that love you and things? Where's the reward in that? Where's the teaching in that? How can you teach somebody how to love when they already know how to love? Okay? This is the whole breakdown is showing love when somebody offends you. Okay? And when it goes into the Torah, what it's talking about, once again, the Pharisees were teaching the man-made commandments that they created and stuff that were telling you, well, you should do this and you should do that. Just like when Christ said, listen to what they say, but don't do what they do. Okay? Because sometimes they'll bring out the truth about it and you go look it up and okay, it was true, but they're not following it themselves. They're being hypocrites. So when we go back into the law to show and prove this, it's not talking about just letting somebody beat you and things. All it's talking about is if somebody is offending you, show love onto them, because it'll teach them like, well, dang, I've been harsh towards you. I've been doing such thing towards him or he or she, and they may not understand or recognize their mistake that they're doing, but you can. So this is how you see the flaws. It's how you could discern what's good and what's evil in certain people that's around you and things. But go ahead, Elder.
Do not even publicans the same? For if you salute your brother only, what do you more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
So the whole key is being ye perfect like your Father in heaven. Now, let's go. Where's the Aramaic translation? Let's, as a matter of fact, just hold that for a second. Let's go to Elder. Let's go to James chapter 4 and verse 7 through 12 to see what he's talking about. Okay. James chapter 4 and verse 7.
The book of James, 4th chapter, and verse 7 reads, Submit yourselves therefore to the Most High, resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
It says, submit yourselves therefore to the Most High. So, as we know, the first greatest commandment that the Mashiach said wasn't the first, where it says, the first commandment is thou shalt have no other God before me. But what Christ was talking about in 6 verse 7, it says, you should worship the Most High thy God with all thy heart, mind, body, and soul. Okay? Which means you're going to do whatever the Most High says to do, you're going to do it. That's submitting yourself to him, because we are his children, we're his servants, and we're his wives. Okay? So this is what we're supposed to do to please the Most High, to get love. Okay? So now that we have this, man, I just lost my place here.
Verse 7.
It says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. So when you're doing these things and you're showing the proof, people that's worldly or dealing with those issues, they don't want to be around you. They literally don't. And sometimes you put yourself around these individuals that don't want to be around you because you try to force it, and some things may happen. Okay? You need to stay away from these individuals like that. Okay? They're not around you for a reason. Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 8. Draw nigh to the Most High, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Most High, and he shall lift you up. Speak not evil one of another, brother. He that speaketh evil of his brother, and judges his brother, speaketh evil of the law, and judges the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou that judgest another?
So let's just show and prove. You, first and foremost, like, you have plenty of people out here who claim they know the laws, right? But then they turn around when the time comes, they can't judge accordingly to what the law says for when somebody is doing something. So you'll take it in your own hands, not knowingly, and you feel like you've been disrespected, and you're going to do something because somebody offended you. Sometimes it may get violent or something, but it's because you don't know that. You don't know the laws. You haven't put it inside you. You haven't dwelled on it. You haven't meditated on it. It hasn't changed you, so you're going to react with emotion, okay? Not logical thinking. You're not stopping to think, well, why is he offending me? You need to ask questions. Hey, fam, why did you say that about me? Why are you doing that to me? What did I do to you? You need to ask these questions, but most people just snap because it's all off the emotion. The law is not about emotion. It's about action. It's love. That's what the Most High is trying to show and prove to us. If we follow these, then we won't be acting, or we won't be going off our emotions. We'll be showing and prove by teaching, because he wants us to be logical. The logical sense is to think before doing things. Like the old saying, think before you speak. So this is what he's trying to show and prove to you. But if you're doing stuff that's contradicting the law, then you're not a doer of the law. So how can you be perfect like your Father in heaven, what Christ just said? Okay? You're not teaching nobody anything. You're reacting with a sinner who doesn't know that they're sinning, and you know that they're sinning, but you're not teaching them to stop their sins or to show and prove that, hey, you're doing certain things. And the only way you can actually speak on it if you're not in that same sin that person is sinning about, because otherwise you'll be a hypocrite. Okay? But let's grab the next verse or next chapter. Jump to Ephesians 6. You know what? Before we go to Ephesians, you know what? That's fine. We'll go to Ephesians 6, and we'll start at, let's see, 10 or 11. Gotcha. So, like, y'all, 1 second. Ephesians 6 and start at verse 10, please.
Ephesians, the 6th chapter and verse 10 says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Most High and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Father, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." Verse 12.
When he says put on the whole armor, this is what he's talking about, to resist the evil. Because when you have the whole armor on and things, that means you have the law guarding you. It's protecting you as you're protecting it. So therefore, you won't have any weaknesses. Your weakness would be your emotions if you react to that. And that's the problem will be a lot of our people's downfall, is because they're reacting off the emotion. They don't know the law. This is why I stress every time in these lessons, you need to read the laws. 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 But everybody's so focused on prophecy, everything else, all these other books outside the Bible and stuff, and yet can't even tell you a law that can save you because you see your brother or your sister breaking it because you don't know it. So that's why what we see in Israel today, a lot of emotions, doctrines being made up, and all these other things, fighting over each other, calling each other's name, putting everybody's business on out there and things like that, because you don't know the laws. And so you don't even have any armor up. Okay? This is what we're trying to show. This is why the Most High is trying to show and prove to us here. But go ahead, El.
Verse 12. "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of the Father, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Father, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints, for all the saved. And for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to speak known the mystery of the gospel. For I am an ambassador in bonds, that therein I may speak boldly as I ought to speak."
That's it on that. So, well, Paul is saying right here, basically, hey, this is how we're supposed to carry ourselves. We could carry it if we do this. We'll be guarded like this. The Most High, it's told all through Psalms, through the prophets and everything. If you but put your faith in the Most High and keep His word, do it, and guard His Torah and everything, that nothing will happen to you. You won't even get put in certain situations like that. Okay? And that's what the Mashiach was trying to tell them, because they were offending everybody. They were offending the Most High. And some of the Pharisees knew this, or they knew what they were doing, but they didn't care because they was too busy trying to, please the people and stuff, because the people was giving them power. Mm-hmm. So here it is, the Most High is showing that, you're offending me by adding to my word, taking away from my word, mm-hmm. and stopping people from following me and start following you. Mm-hmm. So there's an offense that's going on there, but the Most High didn't take them out just like that. They gave them time to prep themselves, mercy, grace, to get themselves right, to stop doing what they're doing. That's why the Mashiach, Christ, was there to show and prove that to them. So you're sitting here offending the Most High. You're not offending the man or the woman that's bringing this forth to you. You're offending the Most High. So you're slapping the Most High in the face, and pretty much that's what you're doing. You might as well say you're spitting on him, everything, because you don't care about his word. You only care about the likes, the claps, and the sound of the people praising up your name or who you are. So just to show and prove this is why if you read the laws, you meditate on it, and you apply it to self, and you catch yourself when you're going through instances with certain issues with people and stuff, logic kicks in first. Excuse me. Logic is kicking in first instead of your emotions, because the law is what teaches you logic. Okay? That's what gets you out of situations that you shouldn't even be in. Okay? But anywho, let's continue. Let's jump to Acts 13 and verse 10. This is all backing it up. And then I'm going to back it up where I'm showing you he didn't mean just let somebody beat the heck out of you. Okay? Plain and simple. I'm going to back that up. Just give me a second. So let me get there. 13 and 10. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Ella.
Acts the 13th chapter and verse 10. And said, O full of all subtlety and all mischief, thou child of the devil, thou enemy of all righteousness, wilt thou not cease to pervert the right ways of the Most High?
Now, mind you, right here, what this is saying, he's talking to the sinners, okay? He's dealing with logic first. So it says, and said, O full of subtlety and all mischief, thou children of the devil, thou enemy of all righteousness, will thou not cease to pervert the right ways of the Most High? So he's shown and proved to you, talk logically first. You know that they're perverse. You know that they're sinning. You know that they're breaking the laws and things. You know this. But ask them first, are you going to stop doing that? And explain why. Just like if you're disciplining your child, if you're whooping them or whatever, and you don't tell them why they're getting whooped, they just going to think they just getting whooped just to be getting whooped because you just feel like whooping them. You need to explain why. And right here is a known spot to show and prove. It's an example. You need to ask these individuals. Talk it out first. That tells you even before war, like it says, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but powers and principalities. In the Torah, it tells you that before going to war with your enemies, meaning the Gentiles and things, you need to go talk to them first. If they don't want to accept the terms and stuff, okay, we tried talking. The Most High is on our side. Y'all finna get slaughtered. No matter how many numbers of thousands and legions and rows of men that you guys have, and you know, lieutenants and captains and generals and stuff, don't mean nothing. Because you ain't got a power on you. You ain't got the Creator on your side. Okay? So this is why we're trying to show and prove. This is why you need to talk first. Logic. Okay? But let's jump to the next verse. Let's go to Genesis 17 and 1.
Book of Genesis, the 17th chapter and verse 1. And he reads, And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Most High appeared to Abram and said to him, I am the Almighty Father, walk before me and be thou perfect.
So walk thou before me and be all perfect. This is before Moses. The laws were already in place here before there was a Mount, well, not before Mount Sinai, but before Moses was even thought of, before Israel even got into Egypt, okay? The whole point was he asked them to walk perfect in front of him. And how you walk perfect? Following his law, statute, and commandments. Let's see what else the Most High says. Continue, please.
Verse 2. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly.
So he'll make his promise between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. He's telling you, I'm going to bless you because you walk it perfectly. I'm going to reward you. Why would I not want to walk perfect in front of the Most High to receive these blessings, to get exceedingly great riches and whatever the Most High feels that I should have? Or answering the prayers that I ask for, the necessities that I need on the earth. When he tells you, I will even give you your wants, like it tells you in Psalms. Not your necessities. I was giving you what your wants. Okay? But continue, though.
Verse 3. And Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make the exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, in their generations, for an everlasting covenant to be a power unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee, and to thy seed after thee, the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their power. And the father said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep betwixt me and thee, and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
Let's just stop right there. So basically, the Most High is going into His commandments and telling the promises that's going to come on to Abraham if he walked perfect, you know. Okay, so this is why you don't get certain things in your life and stuff, because you're not walking that perfect in the Most High's way. Okay, you're not keeping His law, statute, commandments. And I will stress the heck out of this every lesson. You may get tired of me saying law, statute, commandments, law, statute. I don't care. The fact is, you guys are not following it. You're not all the way. You know, there's things that you are, and I hate that excuse. We are in captivity, so we can't keep all the laws. I've heard that so many times, and the first people that come into mind is all our ancestors and prophets that was in captivity still keeping the law, statute, and commandments. Excuses, because you're following those man-made doctrines. You're following what man says, not what the Most High said. He kept Daniel from getting killed plenty of times. He kept Samson from dying from the lion, you know. Or from the Philistines. He done all these things because these men kept it perfectly, while it was in captivity or not. Okay. So I'm just giving these examples of showing that love to the Most High, but also this still goes back into turning the other cheek and so forth and so on. What the Mashiach was talking about. This is how you teach them. Because the Most High is teaching us the same way. Okay? But let's get 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 61. I'm almost done with this thing, and then I'm going back into all the love, you know, how we're supposed to love. Okay?
Let's say 8:61.
Yeah.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 8 and verse 61 says, Let your heart therefore be perfect with the Father our power, to walk in His statutes and keep His commandments as at this day.
So right here is showing and prove. We are supposed to do this when it comes, you know, Solomon's explaining this, but just show and prove that this is how we're supposed to keep it. Be perfect. And what did it say? By keeping the law, statute, commandments, so forth and so on. Now it goes into him, you know, Solomon create, you know, sacrificing and things like that. We can't sacrifice because we don't have the priesthood set up. We don't have the Ark of the Covenant. We don't have the tabernacles. We don't have the Kohens, I always murder my ancestor's name. The three different Levites that's supposed to perform the duties of the tabernacle, the carrying of the ark, and the preparations of the curtains of the tabernacle and of the ark. Okay, so we don't have that set up. So that's why you couldn't do any sacrifices. You actually can burn on your own if you made a what do you call that? When you make
An altar.
an altar, yeah, you can make an altar that if you wanted to burn like a peace offering, or something to the Most High. You didn't need specific priests to do that or anything like that. Okay, there's other things that you could give a peace offering to the Most High or giving thanks that way, because it dealt with not no animals or anything like that. It was grains, cakes, things like that, or whatever the case may be. Okay, I mean we could get into that later on, but I'm just saying that's because Solomon was doing all these other sacrifices and things after he said this. Okay, so anyways, jump to Psalms 101 and verse 2. Roman numerals. Let's see. One second, y'all. Let me get there. Salakia, one second. You gotta be quick on that sword. All right, Elder, go ahead.
Psalm 101 and verse 2. So I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way. O when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. Verse 3. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave unto me. A froward heart shall depart from me. I will not know a wicked person. Whoso privately slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will I not suffer. Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in the perfect way, he shall serve me.
So this is David's song. So you see what it said? You see what he was saying? He said he wouldn't even put himself in that position to have an altercation like that or dwell with individuals that will slander your own brethren and stuff. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're talking about right here.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even get put in that position to having to act or to react on whatever the issue may be, because you won't be around them individuals. And even the Most High tell you that He'll keep you away from them type of individuals, so you won't be put in that type of predicament. Okay? And sometimes you may be, because you are not fulfilling that. You're not trying to help teach that individual, like, hey, you're sinning on me. Even though you offended and stuff, but you sinning.
Got it.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, like we still getting tried and stuff. We still got to make sure we walking righteous in the Most High eyes and everything. He gotta try us still. But if you're walking perfectly in His walk, you ain't got to worry about all that stuff. And then you could discern when that's coming around you to either get the heck away from it, or, if you're going to deal with it, then that's on you. So, like I said, if you're going to teach people, you're going to have people you're going to have to teach one way or another in this walk. You're going to have to deal with situations like that. And sometimes, there's a cutoff. And that's what we're going to get into in the rest of this, to show and prove. There is a cutoff with that love. Because if you're trying to help teach somebody and they continually want to keep living in that sin, because some cats like to use, well, you're supposed to forgive 7 times 77. Not understanding, like, no. That's when people offend you and not knowing it. It's not. It's different when people are offending you and they know that they offended you and they're breaking the law on purpose and they don't care. That's different. Okay, so you have to make it 1, 2, 3, and then you gone. If they don't want to receive it, and you keep bringing it to them the same way that they keep coming at you, offending you about it or whatever, then you really got to cut yourself off from them. You got to be like, nope, move around. Okay? It may be love, but it's tough love, I mean, it's tough love, but it's love all together. Okay? But anyways,
and you're talking about your brother. You're not talking about the world. That's the first thing you need to understand. And the second thing you need to understand, who is my brother? He who keeps the law, statutes, and commandments.
That's right. Yep, that's right. You're right, Elder. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to bring out Colossians 4:12. And then I think that'd be it for, just backing this all the way up. And then we'll get back into the love because I got to finish this lesson. All right. And 12. Okay.
Colossians, the 4th chapter and the 12th verse, and it says, Epaphras, who is one of you, a servant of Christ, saluteth you, always laboring fervently for you in prayers, that you may stand perfect and complete in all the will of the Most High. Verse 13. For I bear record that he hath a great zeal for you, and them that are in Laodicea, and them in Hierapolis. Luke, the beloved physician, and Demas greet you. Salute the brethren which are in Laodicea, and the Nymphas, and the church which is in his house. And when this epistle is read among you, cause that it is read also in the church of Laodiceans, and that ye likewise read the epistle from Laodicea, verse 17, and say to Archippus, take heed to the ministry which thou hast received in the Most High, that thou fulfill it. The salutation by the hand of me, Paul. Remember, my bonds, grace be with you. Amen.
So right here it says, and back in verse 12, Epaphras, who is one of you, a servant of the Mashiach, saluted you, always laboring fervently for you in prayers, that ye may stand perfect and complete in all the will of the Most High. So it's basically telling you what is the will, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Showing everybody that you can constantly walk in this. And you can, because one way or another, it's teaching everybody to do the same thing too, because you're being a light to others. It's going to spark that light in them and stuff. Their light is going to grow and do the same thing wherever they go. So that's doing the will, and that's showing love, because like it says, the second greatest commandment is like unto the first. Love thy neighbor as thyself. So you loving the Most High and doing his will, keeping his law, statutes, and commandments, you apply it to yourself to get the blessings, and then you teach your brethren to do the same thing too. Okay? So, last one here, we'll jump back to Luke so people can understand that he was nowhere near talking about letting people just beat you up. Okay? So, let's jump to Luke 22, and we'll start at verse 35.
22:35.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, the 22nd chapter and verse 35.
And this is the Mashiach speaking.
And he said to them, when I sent you without purse and scrip and shoes, lack ye anything? And they said, nothing. And he said to them, but now, he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip. And he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one.
Now, stop right here for a second. Now, when the Mashiach asked him, he said, take no script, no shoes, no nothing with you when you go out here to go speak, the word, to tell the laws, okay, to all the people and stuff, okay, to our own people and things. Did they lack of anything? No, they didn't. Okay, so guess what? They wasn't harmed. It never states in any of the first books here, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they was never harmed when they did the work. Okay? The only one that was getting harmed was obviously the Mashiach. Okay? Because they was always trying to tempt him and do all these different things. Well, except for John the Baptist. He got his head cut off because of, what's the king?
Name I know you mess with that girl.
Yeah, because she asked him at his birthday
right.
or whatever it was to,
Mm-hmm.
I want the head of John the Baptist. But the point that I'm making, the disciples, okay, of the Mashiach, the disciples, nothing came to them, no harm, no nothing. They got accepted with all these different things. But now the Mashiach is telling them, then said he unto them, but now he that has a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip, meaning his staff, and he that has no sword, let him sell his garments and buy one. So guess what? Some of the disciples didn't have a sword on them. But we know who had one. Peter did. He had a sword on him. So now the Mashiach is telling you, hey, go buy you a sword. So if he's telling you to buy you a sword, what makes you think he wants you to have somebody beat the heck out of you and turn the other cheek to beat you again? Why would he tell you this? That's what we were saying. The scripture that's speaking on that, it's not talking about let somebody beat you up physically. It's all about offending you. Asking them why they offending you. Logically. Deal with logic. Because you don't want to hurt your brethren. Okay? But continue, Ella.
Verse 37. For I say unto you that it is written that you must be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end.
So wait a second. It says, for I say unto you that this that is written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. So, to be accomplished in the Mashiach, you also have to have you a sword. A physical weapon. It's because why? He's coming back with the sword. Like it tells you in Matthew 10 and verse 34. Think not that I come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. He's not playing around. And he told Peter, when he cut off that guy's ear, he said, hey, Peter, it's not time for that yet. It's not time for that yet. He's letting Peter know there's going to come a time. It's going to be time for that. Like it tells you in Ecclesiastes, there's a time and season for everything. Okay? But continue, Ella.
Verse 38. And he said, Christ, behold, there are two swords. And he said unto them, it is enough.
And he said, behold, Yeshua, here are two swords. And he said unto them, it is enough. Now he's telling you two swords is enough for you. Why? Because guess what? There was love in that as well. If you got two swords and your brother's without, give it on to your brother. So he can protect himself and his family and things. See? Just like if your brethren is running around butt naked and stuff, and you have clothes on, enough clothes that you still can cover yourself, give it on to him. Let him keep it, because he has nothing. And then later on, you never know, that man that you gave on to him may become rich someday and run back into you and give you 100 times the amount of what you did for him, because he remembered. There was a day that you was without. Now there's a day that I don't have certain things. That's showing love and teaching your brethren and stuff, okay? So, anywho, so that's it on that part with the whole You know, no. Protect yourself at all times, okay? So, anyways, let's jump back into getting more of the love here. Let's run into Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 22.
and 22?
Yes, sir. And it still falls into, pretty much just adding on to what we just said. So we're getting it from the second wisest man that was in the world before, first wisest man that was in the world before the Mashiach came. which is Solomon. Okay, but go ahead.
Book of Proverbs, the 20th chapter, and verse 22. And it reads, Say not thou, I will recompense evil, but wait on the Most High, and he shall save thee.
So, say not thou, I will recompense evil. So, doing evil for evil. But wait on the Most High, and he shall save thee. Okay? Once again, we've already read this. Deal with the logic. Okay? Wait on the Most High. Have faith in him that he'll get you out of certain situations or give you the knowledge to get yourself out of certain situations. Okay? Just don't act emotional. All right? Jump to Proverbs 19 and verse 26. But it's just still, it's showing love again. Okay?
Proverbs 19 and 26 says, He that wastes his father and chases away his mother is a son that causes shame and bringeth reproach.
So you're causing shame on your father's name and on your mother because your mother is married to your dad. So therefore, you're bringing shame onto both of them. That's not showing love onto them, which comes to the fact that since our heavenly Abba is our father, you are shaming his name because you're not following his commandments or his directions. So you're not showing love again. And therefore, what you're going to do in life, you're going to continue not showing love to your own brothers and sisters. And then showing to prove that, also it's a domino effect that they know you're calling on the Most High and his name, but you're representing him poorly. So you're bringing shame to his name, and therefore people will talk about him and bring, say that God ain't doing nothing for you. Where's your God at? All these different things. But that's just showing to prove as well. But also, it breaks the other commandment. You're supposed to honor thy father and thy mother. Okay? But verse 27.
Verse 27. And it reads, Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causes to err from the words of knowledge. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the back of fools.
Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. So get away from all that crap that people be bringing up, the man-made doctrines and things that's going against the word of the Most High, adding on to it and stuff. It's wickedness. Your words and instructions is right here. That's what you need. That's all you need. I don't have to tell you this. You got the book right in front of you to tell you that. Okay?
Verse 27. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causes to err from the words of knowledge. So they're talking about the church there.
Yep.
They cause you to err when you're in the church.
Yep. And an ungodly witness scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. So they love, that's what they eat. That's a dog turning into his own vomit and stuff. This is what they do. Witnesses scorn, wicked, ungodly witnesses scorneth judgment. Their judgment is messed up. That's why I even tell you back what we were reading about, what was that in Ephesians, about doers of the law or whatever the case may be, that you're trying to judge your brethren and not knowing what they're doing could be wrong and stuff because you're not talking with them. You may know it, but, no. You won't know it because you don't know the laws. So therefore, you can't judge righteously or judge the matter at hand. So therefore, you become the hypocrite and you're doing evil for evil and things because you don't know how to judge it correctly. The instructions that you have. You didn't follow the instructions. Okay? And it says, the judgments are prepared for scorners and stripes for the back of fools. So that could go for the same thing for you. You could be foolish in everything that you do and thinking you're doing righteous to somebody who's sinning when you the one that's doing the same sinning. Okay? So you got to be righteous in all these things. But if you ain't taking in the instructions, then guess what? You're not executing the righteous judgment like the scriptures tell you to do. You're not the doer of the law. Okay? You're actually putting the law to shame which puts the Most High to shame, his name. Okay? Let's jump back to, you know what? Wait a second. Let me see something here. Okay. I was talking about how, that where the love cuts off at, right? There's a part that where love, it stops. There's a grace period where that grace period is up. It's done. And I'll show you the example. So let's jump to Matthew 11 and verse 20.
Matthew 11 and 20. Matthew the 11th chapter and verse 20. And he reads, Then began he to upbraid the cities wherein most of the mighty works were done, because they repented not. Woe unto thee, Chorazin! Woe unto thee, Bethsaida! For if the mighty works which were done in you had been done in Tyre and Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon at the day of judgment than for you. And thou, Capernaum, which art exalted unto heaven, shall be brought down to hell. For if the mighty works which have been done in thee had been done in Sodom, it would have been remained until this day. But I say unto you, that it should be more tolerable for the land of Sodom in the day of judgment than for thee.
So stop right there. So if you look up that word woe, woe is almost like a curse. And the way he said it, when you read it actually in the Hebrew or in the Aramaic and things, he said it with an anger. And the way it came out, it was like a detestable thing that he was speaking on to them and things because of what they saw already. So some people will say, well, that's not love. Christ wouldn't do that. Why would he say something like that? Because you don't know Christ. And he just showed and proved to you, he said woe unto these places because they still kept dealing with the wickedness. This is why I was explaining. You're dealing with individuals, you're trying to forgive. So why didn't Christ forgive these people 7 times, 77 times? You see what I'm saying? Why didn't he do that? He went and woe them because he knew that they wasn't going to turn. This is why I be talking about you really have to. You guys have this Christian concept still of Christianity in your mind of let everybody just do all the wrongful things to you, and there should be no cutoff for it until you're dead. That's not what it is. So the Christ, the Son of the Most High God, had woe these cities and told them that it would have been more tolerable if you was in the land of Sodom than what's going to happen to you. And Sodom and Gomorrah got burned. The sulfur still there can burn. It's all there's nothing in that land. It's all desolate. So what could get more worse than that? I don't know, but he knows. So he woe all that the city. He didn't just woe the people. He woe the city. After seeing all the miracles he had performed. See that? So is that still showing love, or is that not love?
It's going to end.
Let's get some more woes. Okay? We know what we serve and what we worship, okay? But let's continue. Matthew 23 and verse 13 through 39.
Matthew 23. What else?
Oh, I'm sorry. Matthew 23 and verse 13 through 39. Excuse me.
Matthew the 23rd chapter and verse 13, and it reads, But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourself, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in.
You know what? Stop right there. This is actually a law. Where it's talking about you should not cause your brother to stumble.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you exactly what law is. I got to go look it up. But it's in the Torah. It's in the law. It's one of the laws. Which means you're sinning, you're causing your brother to sin too. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is why I'm not saying I'm perfect in the understanding all the way with it, but everything that I see what the Mashiach is saying here, it clicks in my mind back to the law. Because I've read them and I've been studying them nonstop. Okay? Well, no, let me take that back. Not nonstop, but I've been studying it enough. Okay? I mean, I keep studying and keep studying. Okay?
Constantly.
Right. But he said, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. So he knows that these individuals know they ain't going to make it into the kingdom, but they also don't want you to make it in there. Like that saying, misery loves company. That ain't right. And that sure as heck ain't showing no love to your brethren. But continue, Elder.
Verse 14. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses for pretense, make long prayer, therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, for ye compass, see.
This is a third, excuse me, Elder. This is a third woe. Talking to the Pharisee scribes. The cities didn't even get a third woe. They got one woe. They getting three woes. I mean, this is a third woe. There's more. But continue, my bad.
Woe unto you, scribes, Pharisees, and hypocrites. Verse 15. For ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, you make him twofold more, the child of hell, than yourselves.
So given these little titles that you guys got out here, and I'm always going to get on the little happy campers and stuff, because I keep warning you guys, I keep telling you guys, to stop with the man-made doctrines and teach these congregations, your congregations, the people, the law, statute, and commandments, to put down those stupid doctrines that you created. But you ain't done it. You put a crown on your head, or excuse me, you allow the people to put a crown on your head and to boost you up on a pedestal as if you're God Almighty himself. Nothing new under the sun. Doing the same thing that's happening back then. And it's crazy. You guys don't read this out in none of your lessons. Because if you did, then the people would have left. Then guess what? You have no more social media, status. You don't have no light on you anymore. Like I said, this Levi going to tell all the time. But anyways, continue, Elder.
Verse 16. Woe unto you, you blind guides, which say, whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing. But whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools and blind. For whether is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctified the gold?
And he gave him a fourth woe. Mind you, back in verse 16, but continue.
And whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing. But whosoever swears by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. Ye fools and blind. For whether is greater the gift or the altar that sanctified the gift?
Now, mind you, Mashiach said never to call no man no fool, right? But here it is. He's calling them many fools. There's a reason for that. There's understanding for that. Okay? I'll get into that later. But anyways, continue.
Verse 19. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater the gift or the altar that sanctified the gift? Whoso therefore shall swear by the altar sweareth by it, on all things thereon. And whosoever swear by the temple sweareth by it, and by him that dwelleth therein. And he that swear by heaven swear by the throne of the Most High, by him that sitteth thereon. Woe unto you, scribes and
Fifth woe.
Pharisees. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. 4. You pay tithes of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. Ye ought to have done, and not to leave the others undone.
Donations. I know what you guys doing. It ain't no donations. You're playing around. That's another word for tithing. Okay? Ain't nobody, well, I ain't gonna say ain't nobody stupid. At least I ain't stupid. I can't say that for anyways. I ain't gonna say too much, but go ahead, Elder.
Verse 24. You blind guides which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe at you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you may clean the outside of the cup of the platter, but within they are all full of extortion and excess.
Wait a second, time out, man. My wife and I, we were talking about this, how, man, the Most High be roasting us, ribbing us and stuff, and mocking us. Look what the Mashiach said, dude. He said, ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Dude, he's saying you guys would literally go try to swallow a whole camel down your throat. So he's making fun of y'all. And for y'all that's following these men that's doing these things, he's talking about you. So now you're going to have an attitude at the Mashiach because he's roasting you right now? But anyways, continue, Elder. My bad. I just had to go there.
Verse 26. Thou blind Pharisees, cleanse first that which is within the cup and the platter, that causes the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees,
A
and
sixth
hypocrites.
woe.
4. You are like whited out sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and all of uncleanness. Even so ye also outward appear righteous unto man, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites.
Yo, he cursing the heck out of them. Okay? That don't sound like love. Christ wouldn't do those things like that. Once again, you don't know the Mashiach. Well, whatever Christ you've been taught ain't the same as this one. Continue, Elder.
Verse 28. Even so ye also outward appear righteous as men, but within are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, because ye build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we have been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets.
And they did say that, and yet they didn't know a prophet was amongst them. Or they did, and they just didn't care. Okay? But go ahead.
Wherefore, be ye witnesses unto yourselves, that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets.
Yep.
Fill ye up the measure of your fathers, ye serpents, ye generations of vipers. How can ye escape the damnation of hell? Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them ye kill and crucify, and some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogue and persecute them from city to city, that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, blood from the righteous Abel until the blood of Zacharias, son of Bacchus, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all the things that shall come upon this generation, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee. How often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathers her chickens under her wings? You would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate.
Whoa.
For I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Father.
Man, yo, He woed y'all, I think, 7 times. Let me count. As a matter of fact, let me see here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. He jubileed y'all. 7 times he woed you. Completion. He mocked you. He mocked all of them. Roast them, rib them, and he cursed it. 7 times he woed them. So, is that not love, or is that love? See, you guys got to really understand. This is why I say you really need to read yourself. You want understanding in things, you need to put the Most High first, pray on Him, and get the reading in His book and stay in it. You're not just going to get this overnight unless the Most High wills it. Okay? I can tell you I didn't get it overnight. And you know what? I got to say this. This ain't the finale. I know I said in the beginning it's the final, but I still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more scriptures I have to go through. So just to finish it, because I still haven't given the example, the real example what the Mashiach was showing and prove about when you turn the other cheek.
No, this is very simplistic.
It really is.
He give all those woes, and then the thing is, when you look at ourselves, do we harden our heart, or do we finally start to listen and say, maybe I'm missing something?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's exactly what it is. That's the whole point of repenting. It's the change. Repenting is change. Rebuking something is trying to help change. That's why we have grace. This time clock to get it right. And like I said, I'm telling you, it's not just going to come overnight unless the Most High wills it. Okay? So anyways, this would have been this is part 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So next time we'll have this, it will be the finale, okay? Because I'm already out of an hour. And like I said, the reason why some people ask me why I do lessons for an hour, because Mashiach was praying for 1 hour and everybody fell asleep. So I took that as a lesson, as the attention span.
Mm-hmm.
You only need an hour. Okay? Not no 2 to 3 to 4, 5, 6 hours going over scriptures to make your point. No, make it clear cut right to the point. Because all the other stuff is just a bunch of talk. That's why people fall asleep in church. Amen. Amen. You know. But anyways, I hope you guys got some more knowledge and wisdom and understanding. I hope this helped sharpen your sword, helped sharpen your spirit, your walk, balanced you out in all things with the Most High and the Mashiach and the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. And Most High willing, I'll be back here, me and the elder and I, and we can give you some more and stuff. So I'm Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Chris.
And we saying Shalom, Yasha Allah, and World.
Shalom, Israel.